Hello, good evening, everyone. Warm welcome to Business Live. Coming up, 59% of respondents in a survey conducted by KPMG and the Ghana Institute of Procurement and Supply revealed that the organizations do not have anonymous channels for reporting suspicious fraudulent activities.
About 90% of respondents, whom really constitute a significant number of procurement practitioners around the country, did indicate having observed some procurement fraud in one way or the other.
International Monetary Fund insists Ghana's economy is showing signs of economic stability as the extended credit program bears fruits. Do you know how much it costs to buy furniture? Today on the Joy Business Shopping List, we will tell you how to make your budget. We have details of these and many others lined up for you. Please stay. Always a delight to have you on. I am Pius Kojo Baka. To our very first story, the International Monetary Fund has maintained that Ghana's economy is showing signs of stability while the 3 billion extended credit facility program is bearing fruit. It follows warnings that it will take years for the economy to stabilize. This is despite the marginal improvement in the macroeconomic numbers in recent times. Julie Kozak is Director of Communications at the IMF, speaking from Washington, D.C.
So just a quick update on Ghana. The authority's strong policy and reform commitment under the three-year $3 billion program with the IMF is starting to bear fruit. There are signs of economic stabilization. Growth in 2023 has proven more resilient than initially envisaged. Inflation has come down, and the fiscal and external positions have improved. Moreover, exchange rate volatility has declined. On October 6, 2023, our IMF team reached a staff-level agreement on the first review under the program. And once this review is completed by the board, Ghana would have access to $600 million in financing. To ensure timely completion of the review, official creditors and the Ghanaian authorities will need to reach agreement on a debt treatment consistent with the objectives of the program and in line with the financing assurances that creditors provided in May of 2023. Discussions between the Ghanaian authorities and the official creditor committee are ongoing, and we certainly hope that an agreement can be reached soon so that we can rapidly bring the program to the board.
And more on the economy, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has indicated that the country is open to any new cut date by the external creditors for the restructuring of Ghana's external debt, particularly China. Now, according to him, it is important for the exercise to end to enable the country access about $600 million credit facility under the International Monetary Fund second tranche bailout program or package. Now, one of Ghana's major creditors, China, is suggesting a March 2020 cut-off date for every loan given to Ghana instead of the previously agreed upon date of December 2022. Meanwhile, the government is hoping to meet the official creditor committee next week. All right, so let's get on Zoom and speak to economist Dr. Patrick Esumeng on the back of this. Thanks so much, sir, for joining me on Business Live, and good to see you. Now, do you think that it is time for Ghana to accept or make concessions to the proposals China may bring on board? And of course, what will be the implications for that?
Good evening, and good evening to viewers. Thanks for having me. I think that that debate about where the cutoff should be is very important. It's not just a point about where we should start. It's not a minor point. If you look at, suppose that our cutoff is the end of last year, then our total debt at that time was $28.9 billion. Now, if we take it back to a cutoff of the beginning of 2020, or even February or March 2020, our external debt, that means the one that will be eligible, is 23 billion. That makes a huge difference. So if you compare the two, if you take it back to March 2020, then the debt under consideration will be about 20% lower. So I don't think it's a trivial thing. This is about $5.9 billion difference. That may or may not be counted as part of what is eligible for debt treatment. So I think it's a very important difference. It might seem like just a couple of years back, but it makes a huge difference. I'm not sure whether much of that increment of the debt is owed to China, and that's why they are insisting. But I think the government has to proceed with caution and engage the negotiation, and then try and then see how, convince the partners about the importance of having to do a more comprehensive debt treatment rather than leaving some of the debt out.
I see. And do you think that the IMF will agree with Ghana to accept the terms of China?
I'm not so sure. So the IMF is really not a negotiating party as far as I know. I think it's sort of facilitating and encouraging Ghana to engage, probably giving advice here and there. But I think if Ghana decides that they will agree with those terms, then I'm sure the IMF will have to go along with that. But you can understand why the IMF will probably encourage Ghana to do a bit more to negotiate that the treatment starts from the end of 2022, because if we don't do that, then the amount of debt treatment will get to be lower, and then it gets harder for us to get the medium-term debt target.
And Dr. Patrick Esumeng, we are told this restructuring must be completed before 20th December to pave the way for the disbursement of the second tranche of $600 million. What would be the implications if government misses the date?
I think it's not looking good. Already, the uncertainty about when the second tranche will come is beginning to tell. I think there are other factors, but we know that the uncertainty about that receipt has contributed to the CDs, if I don't know if I should call it a little bit of wobble in the last 4 weeks or so.
Yeah.
So I think it just doesn't help. It doesn't help, then there will be question marks about how much debt treatment you will get. Don't forget that it's only a few days ago that we heard about what has happened with the Zambia situation. So the longer this drags on without a resolution, the more concerned and jittery people will get about it.
Well, I don't know what you make of this, because some are arguing that, or suggesting that maybe government would have to go behind the scenes to do some direct negotiations with China.
I'm sure behind the scenes, the government is already doing its own lobbying, speaking to individual countries that are part. But I think this is a very important. It's a very important discussion. And yes, my sense is that government is definitely doing that already. They are trying to go behind the scenes and speak to the partners to ensure that they are on board. So I think that's probably happening already.
And what was the difficulty here, if indeed government is indeed going behind the scenes to engage China on that level?
I don't see the difficulty. I think if it is clear that China is the only stumbling block and is the only one insisting on the cutoff date, then there's nothing wrong with that. I think, but this is a committee with two co-chairs. So, and I think this kind of thing happens all the time, where if everybody else is on board and there seems to be some misunderstanding with one party, there's nothing wrong with engaging on the side, trying to get an agreement before we come on board. So I don't see any specific challenge, but you have to understand that the countries are negotiating for their own interests. I think the Chinese government will look at the breakdown of the debt and when the debts were accumulated to try and understand what is in it for them. The China will be looking at, it definitely wouldn't want to contribute more to the restructuring than the Western partners. So it will probably be looking at these numbers and be thinking, well, perhaps if we shift it to an earlier date, it will give us a fairer treatment. So it's not a trivial thing. I think they have the right to have serious concerns, but I think the government of Ghana should also negotiate on fair terms. And then definitely if it feels I can make more progress doing some side negotiation with the Chinese, why not?
And how do you foresee things playing out, bearing in mind we've already missed some targets in terms of the date set?
I would say that I'm less optimistic today than I was maybe 2 weeks ago. I think the challenge is that, we on our side, we keep announcing, the finance minister keeps putting out dates, but it doesn't control those dates. I mean, you can't control, you don't force the negotiations. So maybe we should do our discussions on the quiet, and when we are ready to announce something, we announce. I think because we've heard a couple of announcements from the finance minister that next week he thinks he's optimistic that we will get an agreement. That 2 of them have come to pass. Nothing has happened. I think these negotiations are tougher than we probably estimated earlier on. So I don't know. I think it will be a positive surprise if we're able to get this done by 20th, from my point of view.
Well, and recently we interviewed the MD of Unilever. Well, is of the view that if inflation should continue to trend downwards, manufacturers may also gradually reduce prices to achieve economies of scale. Now, what do you make of that assertions, and is that really achievable?
I have no idea what. I mean, I don't know the context in which he said that, but inflation has been trending down. It doesn't mean that prices are trending down or costs are going down. It simply means they are still rising. Look, prices are still rising. They are just rising at a slower pace. So I'm not sure how the inflation continuing to trend down should lead to no adjustment in prices. If people say you should reduce prices because inflation is coming down, that's complete misunderstanding of what inflation is. If you move from 40 or 54% to the 30s that we are, it means that prices are still rising at a rate of 30+%. Prices are not falling. So I don't see where the point about reducing prices because inflation is trending down comes from.
All right, thank you very much. Dr. Patrick Esumeng, he's an economist, and we are indeed grateful for your time here on Business Live. Let's move on to some other stories. A survey conducted by accounting and auditing firm KPMG and the Ghana Institute of Procurement and Supply has underscored the pervasive nature of procurement fraud within a significant number of organizations. Majority of respondents in the survey indicated that procurement fraud occurs in their organizations, while the majority of the respondents noted that their organizations have controls to prevent and detect fraud. The findings from the survey suggest that there may be potential challenges in the form of collusion to bypass controls, management override of controls, absence of effective controls, and lack of adherence to established control mechanisms. Andrew Akoto is a partner with advisory at KPMG and has been sharing highlights of the survey with Joy Business.
About 90% of respondents, whom really constitute a significant number of procurement practitioners around the country, did indicate having observed some procurement fraud in one way or the other in their organization. And that is very, very significant. And among some of the types of fraud, they mentioned matters like conflict of interest, collusion, procurement rigging, among others. And this is a real source of concern because as a nation, we should be looking to maximize the use of our scarce resources. And it becomes therefore important that respondents as well as stakeholders pay attention to the findings from this survey. Some of the other important revelations had to do with lack of access for support from management or the top, as well as access to channels to be able to get support, assuming practitioners come under pressure, which is more or less a daily occurrence. In the public and the private sectors, it's quite evident that the procurement function, has become increasingly important and always comes under some sort of a strain or pressure when tenders are being put out. But the significant thing about the public sector in particular is the limited access for support, where professionals in this space want to have access to be able to air their concerns or indeed report fraud, as the case might be. And in fact, one respondent was bold enough as far as to go that there should be a regulatory body set up specially to support procurement professionals because of the kind of pressure that they come under.
Ecobank Ghana Plc says it will expand its investments for businesses across the country and beyond. The bank maintained that it remains committed to cushion the operations of these businesses to contribute to the economic growth and national development. Acting Managing Director of the bank, Joanna Mensah, said the bank will embark on various transformational agenda for businesses in 2024. She was speaking at the Ecobank Chinese Forum.
The forum facilitated the trading and investment activities of the bank's key customers and the public, and also provided opportunity for policymakers and key agents for a genuine and informed debate that sought to discover new ways of improving trade between the bank and Chinese business. Joanna Mensah called for more collaboration.
By surmounting the challenges of language and cultural barriers, this initiative was fostered across other Ecobank affiliates in various African countries, such as Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Liberia, Benin, Cote d'Ivoire, Sierra Leone, Cape Verde, Guinea, Chad, amongst others. And indeed, we'll be very glad to also hold a forum including all of these countries so that we can further collaborate and develop business amongst Chinese partners in these other countries. Ecobank's steadfast support to Chinese business community holds paramount importance. We have financed major projects such as Judiciary Service 34-room court complex, the Pokwasi project, Tema Harbour expansion, N1 Road, Pong Community 26, affordable housing, Makola Shopping Mall, amongst others.
President of the Ghana-China Chamber of Commerce, Tang Hong, said the Chinese businesses will continue to be heavy in investment for technology.
New trends in business help companies reduce expenses experienced in traditional business and therefore attract many more customers. There are various emerging trends, but I would like to dive into the role of emerging technology in fostering economic growth. We can see how quickly and effectively technology has opened the door.
Life in a mining community can be very difficult for members who aren't directly employed by the mining operations. However, in the heart of Ghana, some oil palm farmers, with the support of Golden Star Wasa Limited, are sowing the seeds of change. My colleague Samuel Kojo Brace traveled to Atieku to meet the farmers and has come through with this report.
Farming is one surest way for poverty alleviation On a continent like Africa, research indicates that agricultural productivity growth reduces poverty through many channels. In Wassa East, farmers are using oil palm to improve their livelihoods. Today, I'm traveling to meet some of these farmers. I meet Opening SM Kofi, a retired educationist living here in Ateku, a mining community in the Wassa East district of the Western region. He says farmers in the area have been lucky to have been enrolled on a project, the Golden Star Oil Palm Plantation, GSOP.
When we look at the past and now, there has been a huge transformation. These palm plantations have helped many young men and women to build their own homes. Some farmers have been able to send their children to school. The young girl you see here is my grandchild, and I have been able to sponsor her education from the proceeds of the farm. The palm business has been very impactful.
Another farmer, Mary Adomako, lives in Adase, also in the Wassa East district. To her, oil palm has been instrumental at getting her out of the poverty line.
First, now I've been here now.
When we didn't have the oil palm plantations, things were difficult. But since the chiefs gave Golden Star lands to cultivate these farms for us, they have really been helping our children's education. Since my husband died, it is the oil palm farm that has helped me to take care of the children.
By cultivating oil palm trees, these farmers like Auntie Mary are not only contributing to the local economy, but also improving their own living standards.
Things were really difficult when we didn't have the farm. We didn't have money to buy food and other things we needed. The children and I could only manage to eat just once a day. Things were hard. But now I eat 2 times a day, and the kids eat 3 times a day. If I say things are difficult for us now, I would be telling a lie.
Auntie Mary says some more people now want to give their land out to Golden Star to cultivate for them.
I was having a chat with someone, and he said if GSOPP will allow it, he will give them his land for them to cultivate for him, because he has a friend who is on the project and knows how much he gets each month.
Hello, welcome back. Traders of furniture at La Paz are lamenting the high cost of manufacturing materials and imported products. Today on Joy Business Shopping List, my colleague Jesse Magbaku finds out the cost of imported and locally manufactured furniture on the market. Here's more.
Welcome to the Joy Business Shopping List. This week we are at La Paz, where there's a huge market for both imported and locally manufactured furniture. So if you are looking to buy furniture for your homes, offices, this is the place to be. We'll find out just how much it costs to buy furniture for your space.
Royal type, no. I don't know, mostly from Holland, and your friend is Turkey. And we have the leather ones too, mostly from Germany and UK. And our price is not so, somewhere last year it was affordable, but this year, trust me, we are facing, challenges.
So this one, for example, is a set. Is this a set?
No, this 3-in-1. We have the 3-in-1 and the 2-in-1, which makes it 5-seater.
So this, for example, what's the price?
Yeah, the price is 6,500.
Are you open to a reduction?
Yeah, sure. Probably 6,000 I can give it to the person.
So a few months ago, how much were you selling this?
Yeah, well, a few months ago, it was somewhere 4,000. Let's say the 3-in-1 was 2,500, and the 2-in-1 was 1,500. But due to, the challenges we are facing this time around, cost of materials and other stuffs, it makes the price goes a bit higher.
So this is a material type of sofa.
We have this material and something like this, and that one is a suede material, and that ones are the leather types.
So this one is different from this. So what's the price of this one?
The price of this starts from 7,500, and roughly for set of sofa it should be 7-seater. The price of 7-seater should be 7,000 upwards. That's for 7-seater. But when the prices, we are facing a bit challenges, we reduce it a bit for the person, so that at least I'll be a bit many do on them. You get what I mean? Yeah.
So I can see you have some leather types there. How much does that one cost?
Yeah, that one is 8,500. That's for the first price, and it comes down to maybe 8,000. Yeah, and the leathers too, we have them in different types. We have the soft leather and we have the hard leather. You understand me? So normally people without AC in their rooms prefer the soft leather. Leather ones, normally we do sell them in sets, which cost 7,000 or 7,500. But recently the prices has gone up to 9,000, 8,500 and 8,000. That's the less amount we can give you.
What is the reason why this has gone up? Is it the import duties?
Yeah, it's first of all the import duties, and secondly to the price of materials too has gone up. Yeah, so it's all part of it that's made the price gone up.
Is there a period where you reduce your prices?
Well, I should say somewhere last year, December, yeah, it was okay. We reduced the prices, but this time around, we weren't finding it easy. Because I should say last 3 weeks, we cleared one container, which cost almost 130,000. But I should say somewhere last year, it cost us 100,000. Yeah, so difference of almost 30,000.
Sofa no motor no saying.
So far they be our prices. Yeah, we are 5,000. And I could nimka the mabon rubber and tomano. And so 5,000. And now question on more than 9,000 by the 8,500. But did not bear 6 months in the sun ton. Yeah.
So
wait for example. Difference of room. We 2,500. And they bear in the sun ton. Maybe to say we must use 7,000. And the best 3 months as 6 months in the price now. Near will be to say dining table. Dining table and a course road nap say above. Near the 7,000.
What's the way 9,000?
9,000 by my 8,500. A set in now.
So a few months ago.
And the price is now bear 6 months in there. Price is 1 year ago now 1 year ago there 6,500 we and toma so far we and toma and they 5,000
and you say a
year ago now 4,000
I was it leather
across we yeah leather we and toma and toma and course na 6,000 na say about 5,000 yeah that it do we need a leather no e boy dey o mo say leather no boy but ni na Ghana made any foreign
so any
imported we imported we Ghana made e me here.
And that's it for Business Life. I am Pius Kojobaka.